What is up, y'all? Welcome back out to the Bench in the Backyard. Today we are going to be pulling everything out of the greenhouse and transferring it over to the bench. So I guess we'll give y'all a little update on how everything did over the winter. Here is that little three-piece planting that I did in the water with the rock. It's looking really good. I'm not seeing any browning at all. This needs to come up a little bit. Because, like I said when I was making it, this front's going to be filled in with water. There's a little bit from where I've been watering it. But yeah, so this one turned out fine. I'm not seeing any browning other than old needles down at the base of the branches. All the tips are looking good. So yeah, that's number one. So the next thing we got is our little windswept maple. Got a little a bud down here, so that's great. But if you look along, I've got buds coming out all over the place. We got one popping right there, maybe. And then up at the top, everything is coming out. So we'll have quite a few branches up top. Some of these we're going to have to get rid of because we want everything coming this way, but that won't happen until after the air layer. So yeah, I got one bud there, 1, 2, 3, 4 around that one. 5 up here, 6, 7, all along this branch. So yeah, I'm stoked about that one. Got a bunch of roots down here on the bottom, you can see. So yeah, that's that one. We'll be throwing this one on the ground. Next thing we have is our other Japanese maple. It's starting to pop as well. A lot up in here. Got a few buds coming out down around this last year's branch. I've got buds coming out at this junction, this junction, this junction. All looking really good. So yeah, and then this one again, we're going to be air layering somewhere around in here. Get us a second tree, and then we'll probably top this one here. We'll nibble that back a little bit. So this will be our new apex. We'll shorten all of this. Probably. Might actually bring this one down to here and bring this one up. Bring this out. But yeah, that's 3. Next thing we have is our little exposed root boxwood. Got a little bit of leaf dieback. This was all browned from before. We got one branch that's dead. The tip of this branch has buds, but I don't know if they're gonna pop. Yeah, it's a boxwood. It's just winter discoloration. Should be all right. That's really the only problems I see with it. But eventually this will get planted vertically with that exposed root somehow. We'll see how they look eventually. But yeah, so tree number 4. Tree number 5 is our little upright yew. It's a Taxus densiformis. Got some weeds growing all over the place. Come in and clean those out. Got one little branch down here. Looks like it got trapped by the wire. But yeah, it seems to be doing well as well. It is I think those are female flowers, so that could be good. So there you go. Plant number, what is that? 5? 1, 2. So tree number 6. This is one of those Dawn Redwoods that I got at Lowe's end of last season. I mean, it's starting to pop out, looking really good. So this is the twin trunk one. Should turn out to be pretty good. There's we got a little bit of growth here on the inside, but not a lot really. I mean, I knocked off most of the inward growing buds. And this too, go ahead and get rid of them. Don't want to put any more energy into them than I need to because they're not going to be kept. So yeah, turns out nice. Buds are popping everywhere. Most of these have broken, so they're showing a little bit of green. Same all the way out here on the end of this branch. So we have a little bit of control over the branch all the way around. So yeah, there we go. Next we have the other Dawn Redwood. Same deal. It's the other one that I got same time as that last tree. Again, buds popping everywhere. The end of this branch looks like it might have died, but I do have a bud back here at the beginning. Everything else is looking healthy. Even the weeds. Get rid of some of those. Yeah, a little informal upright. We'll bring this out a little bit more. About like that. This, I'm not seeing any buds on this branch right here. So that may turn into a gem, but I do have 2 buds right below it. So we should be pretty good there. All the buds along the trunk are coming out. Up here at the top, I've got 2 buds back here that we can either let grow up and become a new leader, or we can keep it down at this height, which is probably what I'm going to wind up doing. So yeah, Dawn Redwood number 2. Here we have that little Literati Hollywood juniper. I've got a little bit of juvenile foliage. All this is starting to pop though. The tips are going pretty green, so we should get a nice flush of growth out of this. One thing I will, I'm going to be doing a review of that greenhouse. during one of the big windstorms that we had this winter, it pulled away from the fence, that nylon rope. If you're going to get this style greenhouse and it comes with that crappy white nylon rope, just get some paracord or something, because that stuff just slipped and pulled, and the whole greenhouse like traveled across my plants, knocked this one over about, I guess it was a week or so, maybe 2 weeks after I planted it or repotted it. Knocked it over, made it loose. So I basically just tightened down the tie wires and threw a guy wire on it right here to kind of hold it steady. I'm not seeing any die off, so that's good. I got a little tip right here. Oh, never mind, that was just a branch that might have been knocked off during that storm. A few brown tips, but I mean, it's not like whole branches, it's like just a single tip. So there we go. Now we're starting in on the Chinese elms that I got from behind work. So free tree. They all have leaves popping. This one doesn't have a whole lot down low. The buds are starting to break, so we should get some branching here down lower on this one. This is looking fairly gnarly. I don't see any buds on that. I don't see any buds on this down here. So we go ahead and get rid. Yeah, that's a dead branch. Pop that. Actually, all of this is dead. Oh, that one does have a little bit of green up here at the top. No, it doesn't. No. This branch is also dead. But yeah, I've got buds popping off on all the rest of the branches. So that's elm number 1. Right here we have elm number 2. And a dead branch down here. Pop that. This one's completely leafed out. Really nice small leaves. This tip is dead. And that's all I'm seeing on this one. I don't see any of these buds popping that are down low on this one. But I do have a nice little branch coming out here. We've got that Kabadachi. Looks like this whole tree didn't make it. Actually, it looks like both of these didn't make it. So I may need to take this apart and add a couple more trees to it. That's not good. I want to make sure that everything is covered down here at the base. We'll actually mound up a little bit. This one right here is our biggest tree. Yeah, everything else has leaves on it. We're going to let this one run to thicken up this trunk here. Make sure that it has the thickest trunk. Yeah, so that's our Kabadachi elm. Next we have our multi-trunk, which is basically another Kabadachi, sort of, except it's single tree instead of multiples. So down here at the bottom I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 trunks coming from this same junction. And then I've got another branch that's coming down here slightly higher. And I've got a bud popping from the base of this trunk as well. So we'll see how that works out. I know you're thinking to yourself, he didn't plant that many in the first place. That's true, I found some more. So I've got a total of 1, 2, 3, that Kabadachi, plus another 6. So 9 plus the little clump style. All of these have made it. I'm seeing leaves everywhere. This one's got some more buds to pop on the trunk. This one's got a broken branch. But other than that, they're all doing good. I was wrong. I've got a few more homes. So this is that informal upright that we got. It was the biggest of the elms. Oh, excuse me. This one's going to be a little broom style. We've got some dead twigs up top. Plans for this one, we'll probably let this grow off as a sacrifice branch, and we'll come back to here and do a little mame broom style with it. So I've got 1, 2, 3 trunks, or 3, I've got it splits here, and then splits again right here. It's pretty close. So if we bring this one back a little bit, bring this one forward a little bit, we might be able to get a little broom style out of that one. And then this one, everywhere is popping. I don't know if these 2 buds made it. We can always cut back to here. Same thing up here. I don't know if this bud made it. We can cut back to here. A few more nice little elms. You can never say no to free trees, right? weed out. Anyway, so I had a bunch of moss die off. This thing's about to get repotted as soon as it stops flowering. Oh my goodness, it is March 13th and my azalea is already flowering. That's crazy. Last year this bloomed in April. This year, probably because it was in the greenhouse, it bloomed a lot earlier. As soon as this blooming is done, this is actually getting repotted. It'll go in the same pot. And yeah. Plans for this one, I do not know yet. We might go, I mean, right now it's a nice little broom with that being the front. So if we take this branch off here and probably this one and change that to the front, we'll have a nice little 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 trunk broom style. We can bring this one up a little bit, bring this one up a little bit, bring that up, or we could, depending on what I want to do, I don't know, we'll think about it when we get closer, but I might completely change this. Got a little dead branch back here. But yeah, a nice little, it's a native azalea, it's not a Satsuki or anything. But yeah. Next thing we got is our little blue short juniper. Again, we got some weeds that we need to get rid of. This is just an empty basket from last year. There's no fertilizer in it. But yeah, so this one will, when we work on this one, we'll be wiring it down a little bit. So our front is probably about right there with the bamboo front. Bring this one out and down, bring this one down and in, and all of the rest of this, we'll wire it out a little bit. Probably towards the end of summer, maybe bring this apex up a little bit. So yeah, got a little dead bit right there. I don't know where that actually came from. But yeah, this is the one where I broke it and we had to cut back. I mean, it still looks pretty good. I like it. Yeah. Next thing we have is our Kingsville, our bigger Kingsville. I've got a little bit of dieback here at the top. I had to slip pot it. I was just way too hard to keep this thing watered. Yeah, we can come in here, clean up some of this top. You know, everywhere I'm cutting is still green, so it may actually, I mean, some of this is obviously super dead. There's not a whole lot. Like, all of the branches still have some green on them, even where I'm cutting. But yeah, I had to slip pot it into this pond basket with a little bit of sand and topsoil. It is doing all right now. Kind of wish I had done it about a week earlier. Then this clean out wouldn't have been quite nearly as drastic. I'll spend the next few weeks making sure I get rid of all of the dead tips. Well, like, yeah, you see right here, this branch died, but above it is actually still alive. So I'm pretty sure I didn't lose it. And it's been about a month since I slip potted this. I'm still in the search for a pot for it. Haven't been able to find one. I was hoping I'd find something down when I went to Plant City last month, but I didn't find anything. So the search continues. Oh yeah. And as I get rid of any of this, no, there's a cat next door. Dog does not like cats at all. So anyway, as I get rid of the dead foliage, I probably will make sure I film all of it. Might do it over a couple of sessions. So yeah. Anyway, so that's Kingsville number 1. Kingsville number 2, a few dead leaves, nothing major. So yeah, that one will be doing a repot on here soon. And yeah. Now we've got the smaller of the 2 Procumbens Cascades. This one, as you can see, I've lost 1, 2, 3, and the tip of this branch. So what we'll be doing today, probably take this one off. At least to here. This one we can take all the way off. But as you can see, all the rest of the buds are popping. Where are you going? You go up and around onto this one. So I need to leave a little stub And then down here, we will cut back to that leader. So we're not looking too bad. I mean, those little branches is all that I lost off of this one. So I'm all right with that. We can let this push and develop a new apex up here. And eventually wire all of this down. But yeah. So there's cascade number 1. Here's cascade number 2. Again, I had the same problem. Probably what happened, it looks like there's a little split right there. They killed off this branch. This one, I'm not sure. It's died off a little bit more recently. This one, I don't even need to clip any wires. It's right there. This one will keep all the way to out here. I don't know where that wire is going. So we'll keep that, turn that into a gen later. This one right there. But again, tips are all breaking, so that one's pushing. This we can bring over a little bit, up, and then back down. Bring this up to kind of fill in that top a little bit. So about like that. This one this year will probably just be pruning back. Trying to force some back budding to kind of fill out these cascades a little bit. This one up top looks pretty good. That'll probably stay in about that. I want that to stay in about that proportion. Fill out this top section right here, and then our main cascade branch. It's looking pretty decent. But we'll go in, we'll clean up some of the insides of the curves and all of that. Once I get that first flush of growth, we should be able to push. I mean, I'm in 8A, so might be able to get 3 flushes out of it this year, which would be nice. So yeah, that's cascade number 2. Next, we have our specimen branch white mulberry. I'm getting a couple of pops, so that's really good. None of the buds on this lower branch have popped yet, but every other branch tip has some green on it, so that'll be nice. This tip might be dead on this. We'll let this bud go ahead and shoot before I do anything to that. So I've got 2 buds here, 1 there. I've got a bud back here at the top of this branch. Got that bud, that bud. And then I've got these two coming from up on the branch. Oh, I got another one in the back. So I've got 1, 2, 3 buds coming from the trunk, which I'll let them run just to pump some more energy down into those roots, because we did root prune it pretty hard this winter. Oh, I have a bud down here, but I'm not seeing anything on this branch, but I do have something coming. I've got the tip of this one is broken, and there's one back behind it, so that should be good. So yeah, white mulberry number 1. Right here we have the Procumbens that I've been working on for a couple of years, that I did that gen work to last year that y'all saw, probably one of my early videos. But this is looking good. The bark around the shari has started to roll over pretty hard. So what we're going to do this year, I'm planning on widening out this shari a good bit. This deadwood's all looking pretty decent. I mean, eventually it'll wind up being way back here. Just because, I mean, some of these tips are not going to make it forever. But as long as it stays in this Shohin size, I would like to keep that deadwood as long as I can. So this one will be getting treated. But yeah, so what we'll do this year is we'll widen out this shari a good bit, see if we can't get it down closer to the base. And then I just have to figure out, I assume that's going to be the front. I may bring this branch, start moving it forward and put it right here, and move this branch right here to the back to give us some depth. Looking through here, I don't see the wire biting in yet anywhere, so that is good. But yeah, so that is this is my wife's favorite tree. She just, I guess, really likes the deadwood. Might guy wire this deadwood down a little bit, see if I can't get it to come down a little bit like that. Doesn't have to move much, just a little bit to kind of like, so that it doesn't look doesn't look quite as flat. If I can get this part down about like that, would probably be my best option. I can guy wire, probably not back to that. But yeah, so that's that one. Next thing we have is another Procumbens. Of course, because that's basically all I have is Procumbens nanas. That's not that's not true. I do have other trees. This one's made it fairly well. One little dead branch lit there, branch lit there. But other than that, we're looking pretty good. A couple of tips there. Tip right there. And again, I'm not seeing any wire bite yet anywhere. So there we have that. Our next tree is a bunch of weeds. Most of that was from this one tree. So this is our informal upright. Right there. Actually, probably right there. Again, I'm not seeing any wire bite quite yet. So we'll pay attention to that one as the year goes along and get this unwired when we can. So yeah, probably right there is the front. I know it's leaning away. We can change the angle up a little bit. Although I have the Shari here on the back side. If we kind of, I don't know. I'll figure that one out. It's our other Pacific Shore Juniper. And this one, basically all we did last year was wire it up on this rock. Oh. Uh-oh. I don't know if you can see that very well. But there is a hole. I don't know if it's a chipmunk got in or a mole. That's not good. Fill that hole in a little bit. Alright, that's most of the weeds. So this one's sitting up on this rock. It's kind of wrapped around the rock. It starts off up here in the front, wraps around that way, and then wraps down this way. It'll probably take several years, like 4 or 5, for this thing to actually be attached to this rock. Bring this down a little bit, but one of the wires slipped. So there we go. Front's probably towards you. Like that. And we can bring this over some way. I don't know. I didn't really have a massive plan around this one, other than just like planting it with this rock. It may never attach itself, probably not. It was fairly old when I did this, so it's not like it's a little tiny seedling. But there's that one. Next we have that Kabadachi style Chinese elm that I got from Green Thumb Bonsai. We do have a few dead twigs in here that we'll go in and clean out. Leaving everything that has any green on it whatsoever, or anything that looks like it could be a bud that could pop. A lot of these probably died off because they were getting shaded out. Especially up here in the top parts of the canopy. That should be good for now. And again, we're probably going to bring this up a little bit. Maybe up and to the right. Or up and to the left. Next, we have our false holly, our tea olive, Osmanthus heterophilia. Had one little branch die off. Other than that, it's not too bad. Y'all just saw this one not too long ago. Next thing we have is our raft. I'm not seeing any dead on it whatsoever. Oh, never mind, I lied. Huh? Yeah, it's probably not gonna make it. But, I mean, come on. That's just normal dieback. So there we have that. This one, we're not going to do a whole lot to it this year. Maybe next spring we'll look at pulling this wire basket off, or at least cutting it back some and starting to expose that root ball. Ruben, thank you for the suggestion of putting something up here, kind of protect this root ball. So yeah, eventually this will be really cool. Get a good tip from where we pruned, but everything else is looking pretty good on this one. So the next thing we have is my camellia. It's starting to push buds right where we wanted it to, at all the cut points. Some back budding as well. So right now it's a twin trunk. Probably about right there would be the front, because I've got these two big nasty cuts back here. This one's actually rolling over pretty well. This one though is not. So I'm gonna have to figure out something to do with this. I might have to come in at the top of this, cut back some more, and then cut this callus a little bit. I mean, it's rolling over everywhere except up top and down here at the bottom. So if I come down here, nibble out a little bit there, nibble out a little bit there, and we cut this callus and kind of get that to cover over. This one's going fairly well. We'll do the same thing over here. We'll just cut the inside part of that callus and try and get that moving a little bit faster. And then eventually they'll kind of look like that. I got another little cut here. But yeah, just a little formal upright camellia. Next thing we have is our little Christmas Picea. Getting a little bit of needle dieback. Most of it seems fairly healthy though. None of the needles are pulling. So I might have just missed it while I was watering once or twice. Or it could be some of this root up top that's getting exposed. But it's not looking horrible. Fertilizer might help that as well. We'll have to come in and tip all these brown tips of the needles. Pull the needles that are browning. I'll get in and do that with some tweezers later. But you can actually see in here, I've got buds coming out everywhere on this thing. Again, this one's going to get shortened back to here. But I've got buds popping out on just about every branch. So we should be able to get into and start doing some ramification. Got buds up here at the tips, buds everywhere. So, yeah. Next thing we have is our Satsuki. A big, wide Satsuki at the moment. I'm going to let this flower, and then we are going to probably take it down to this trunk right here, and either this trunk that splits or this single trunk over here. So these in the back may come off, and then we'll clip tips, push back budding down lower, just to see how much we can get down here. Then eventually we'll just work on pushing as much energy into this trunk as we can, while kind of limiting this side over here, just to kind of get a nice informal upright over on this side. And we'll just be pumping it up, cutting it back, pumping it up, cutting it back over the next few years. But yeah, little Satsuki. I've got, just normal azalea, old leaf die off. This one has not started pushing flowers yet. Not even close. Nothing like the that bright pink one that I have. So next thing we have is another Procumbens. A little bit of browning in some of these needles back here. That's probably just third-year needles dying off. Some of it might be a whole branch, but it's not a lot. That had tips growing all the way out here, so that branch wasn't quite dead, but looking kind of ugly. So we had to get rid of it. Again, looking in at any wire bite, and I'm not seeing any. Looking out at the tips. No, I'm pretty good. Haven't started biting. This one might bite in the next month or so, but all the rest of these are looking pretty good. Come out, see if I get any more dead to fall. Yeah, this top is all adult foliage. This Cascade still though is mostly juvenile. I can cut back this top, try and push this back in a little bit. There's a few spots, like right here is a little low, so that'll have to get pulled up a little bit. Yeah. My other Picea didn't make it. I didn't think it would. Uh, After I realized, because like when I saw it at first and just reached down and felt the girth of that trunk, I was like, oh man, that's gonna be awesome. And then actually dove down into it, and it was all of these little small sticks coming up, and I went super drastic with it, and then it just didn't make it. It was inside. It might not have gotten enough water, I guess. Probably what happened to it. I know it didn't freeze, so that's not the problem. But, yeah. That's a shame. Next thing we have is this Blue Point juniper. As you can see, I had a lot of the interior growth die off on me. So we're going to come in here, clean this up, see what is still there, and we'll go from there. Where this was in the greenhouse, it might have gotten hit on a couple times with that, because it's basically just a tarp over a frame. So if that tarp got loose and hit on it, that might be what the problem was. Because most of this was on the back side, which this is the side that was up against the tarp. If you can see, it's kind of flat back here. And it's not localized on one trunk. So we didn't do anything to the roots, so that's not the problem. Problem was probably it getting smacked on by that daggone tarp. I'm not super happy with the with that greenhouse. I mean, it might have helped out a little bit. It is nice not having to worry about the wind desiccating your plants. So if that's really your big problem, and you can fit them all in the middle of it and tie it down real good, I mean, it's not a horrible product. I mean, especially for $240 or whatever it was I paid for it. Alright, so that's that. We just lift our branches back into place. Where we want them to go. On the tree, it looked a lot worse than it was. Like if I had cleaned that up, y'all probably wouldn't even notice. If I had cleaned that up off screen, y'all probably wouldn't have even noticed. Because there's still a lot of branching on this. And again, I'm not seeing any wire bite. Out here on the tips where it's actually going to thicken up the fastest, I did wrap a little bit looser. So yeah, I think that's going to be our front right there. There's a few more brown spots, but that should be good. So there we have it. Our little prentice. So I've got some leaves pushing. Not sure exactly what it is. The little app that identified stuff for me said it was a black cherry, but I do not know. It might be cherry laurel, or it might be, no idea. But it looks like most of this stump is dead, at least from here up. So we can come in here and chop it here. Yes, we can chop it from here, from up here where this first branch comes out on an angle down to here. So I'm gonna have to choose 2 of these over here to go and 1 of these over here to go. Probably get rid of this one, even though it's the bigger one, just because this one's a little bit higher up. So there's that one. Last spin around. Yeah, we'll be trunk chopping this one. You can see right here there's a fold. So this, I know this is all dead up top. And I know this is all dead, because you can see that fold right there as well. So we may just come in here and saw from up here down to here, just straight across like that, or come out straight to here and then follow this fold where we know that trunk is dead, and that'll be that one. So the next thing we have is that cotoneaster I pulled apart. As you can see, I've got buds starting to pop here. You are dead. You are dead. So buds popping there. Buds popping on both of these. Buds popped all on that one. That didn't make it. That was just a stick shoved in the ground. I am not yet seeing buds on this. Not seeing any buds anywhere up in here. it's not scratching green. Let's come in. Cut that off. No green. No green. That again was just a stick shoved in the ground. Same there. This one I was having a little bit more hope for. Because it was the secondary part. So that chunk did not make it. Nah. Nope, whole thing was dead. Now this was our main one. I do have some leaves starting to pop. Got some green. That branch was green. So this one's gonna make it. This is, I mean, it is a deciduous cotoneaster. So the leaves do fall in the winter. Get rid of these weeds. That is also the problem with that greenhouse, is everything was so close in together. I couldn't get in there and weed very well. I guess I just didn't feel like it. You know, it's winter. You don't really want to do a whole lot of stuff. And because it was in that greenhouse, these weeds just super thrived. So there's that. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4 that definitely lived. This one again, I think was just a stick shoved in the ground. I don't know if it had any roots on it or not. Or this might have been that one that had like one root coming off the bottom of it. And again, I'm not really seeing any. That one didn't make it. Not seeing any, no roots on that at all. And this, we can come up here. Dead. 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 And that one's dead. Yeah. So this is that one that it ground layered. But the roots didn't make it. Yeah. Brown all the way through. No green. So, out of that cotoneaster that I got 1, 2, 3, 4 plants out of it. I can't complain about that. You know, I mean, it's 4 plants for the price of 1. This one's definitely popping. Down here on the trunk at least. So that'll be nice. I've got a leaf bud out here. But yeah. You can see a little bit of that green ring around the tip of that. So we know that this one has made it. It doesn't look super pretty right now. But again, it's a deciduous, so it's going to start popping buds fairly soon. If none of the branches make it, then we can just cut back to stump and start from there. The rest of those, so these two, actually, so I got 5 out of it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 plants out of that Cotoneaster. So yeah. So right here, I had 1 branch die off on me. That one's gone. But other than that, it seems to be fine. Everything else, pushing buds. So that one should be good. This was just done, I don't know, I guess a week ago now. Nothing feels dry yet, so that's good. What I'm worried about is over on this side where I had to split. Man, they got me. So I was pulling a tree that I haven't done any work on whatsoever that I got last year out, and apparently there are ants living in it, and they got me pretty good. But that'll happen. I'm gonna have to go in and spray. But yeah. So Tanuki number 1. If this side lives, that'll probably be the front, about right there. If it does not, then about right there, and this will be the whole tree. Hopefully it does live. Oh man, those freaking fire ants. But yeah, hopefully it lives. It still feels pretty soft. I'm not feeling really any drying, so that should be good. Our other Tanuki, again, it's only been a week, so it's not really going to show any signs of damage quite yet. A little bit up in here, but I think that's from where the foliage got trapped. All the rest of it feels fine. Not feeling any dry stuff other than where, like, I damaged a little branch while I was doing stuff. So that would be Tanuki number 2. Front about right there. And once this pushes out and starts growing in, when we go and take this off, I'll come in, clean up this bark a little bit more with the Dremel and a wire brush. Well, it should be all right. So this one is taken to the repotting pretty well. I'm not seeing any growth. Well, there's a little bit of growth up here pushing. Yeah, this is one that you'll see in a month or so. Probably around May, sometime in May. This should be getting ready to get its first styling. We'll come in and do what we need to do to it. So yeah, that's all of my plants over that were in the greenhouse. If you can see in here, our white mulberry is starting to push. Down these that I shoved in the ground, I mean, they're just literally just hardwood cuttings. If anything happens to them, then I'm not expecting it. I didn't do anything to them. But yeah, our mulberry's starting to push. Then we have all the ones that we just did this past weekend. So we've got our big giant. You can see, I mean, I'm standing straight up next to it. It's 4.5 feet to this point right here. I'm standing a little bit below where it is, but from the top of the pot to right here is about 4.5 feet. From the base all the way down there to this tip is 5. It's just doing, well, I mean, it's not doing anything right now. It just had a massive root pruning. Then we have our little Cascade Wisteria as well. These two I'm going to have to watch like a hawk. Make sure they don't start vining, because I do not want wisteria all over my backyard and house. Back there is that little single point holly, and then over there is our other white mulberry. So over in here we can look at the inside of the greenhouse. You can see right here we have a major bend. This one kind of bent back this way. It's fine. If I had to do over again, I probably would not get this style with the thin-walled green tubing. But yeah. So back here we have our crepe myrtle. Has not started throwing out flowers yet. That's to be expected. I wouldn't expect that for another month or so. Our trident maple is doing really well. Not seeing any dead branch. Oh, one dead branch way down here, but that's not a problem. I did have one small branch over here mostly die on me right there. This front portion died on me, but that's fine. I've got most of those were probably going to go away anyway. This summer we'll probably wire this up, get rid of some of this. We'll probably air layer this, air layer that, and this will be our main tree. Purple smoke tree hadn't started pushing buds yet. Our American, or no, that's the American smoke tree right there. This is our purple smoke tree, and it has not started pushing buds yet either. Our Dawn Redwoods have started pushing buds. This is one of the ones that I wired earlier. I only wired 2 of them. Our purple Japanese maple starting to push buds up here. These buds haven't broken yet, but yeah, as you can see, all of the Dawn Redwoods are breaking bud there. These buds are just starting to break. You can see right here where my fingertip is, that's starting to go a little bit green, and then I'm getting some buds popping here. This one over here, not seeing anything. I'm gonna break this greenhouse down today. None of those have really started popping, so I might have lost one. That one definitely is popping. Over here we've got our Ligstroms. So I've got 2 Ligstroms and a Mugo in each of these planter boxes. I drilled a holes out in the bottom of this planter just so that I could get some good drainage. But as you can see, these candles are starting to elongate on the Mugos. They're taking to this thing pretty well. Most of the Ligstroms are also. Another Ligstrom. This is my dwarf Mugo that's in the center box. As you can see, I mean, these candles are going crazy. This year we'll be doing candle, we're going to be trimming candles on all of these. This leg trim is just nuts from top to bottom. Of course, this is that little group. It's got 3 trees. Eventually, they might all fuse together if we keep them planted like this. Over here, I had some die off on the back side of this. This upper portion is fine, but it might have just gotten a little too much frost. I mean, I've got leaves out here, so it might push, and if not, then this can get trimmed off. And I don't know, we'll have to figure something out. Candles are starting to push on this Mugo as well. Oh, I missed one. So that one's got 3 little buds. Knock off that smaller one. 3 buds. Again, take off the smaller one. And then this little guy. A little bit of dead branching up underneath. Again, that's probably from the big hard freeze that we had. We don't normally get that hard of a freeze during winter. Next thing is going to be our spreading yews, little Japanese plum yews. They're doing well. And then the other one, you can see it's already starting to pop buds. I did have this part die off right up here, which is fine. I was planning on turning this whole side into a gen anyway and just having this as the growth on that tree. I'm sorry, that right there. So until last year, these azaleas were completely covered in honeysuckle. We had a big honeysuckle bush. You can actually see the remnants of the stump back there. I've kept onto that thing, make sure it's not throwing anything else out. It's hard to get back in there, especially with it right up against the fence. But yeah, these things have bounced back incredibly well. I'm super surprised. For the most part, it was just one little branchlet sticking up above the honeysuckle that was keeping all of this alive. That branch is dead to there, but I mean, it's doing pretty well. This is a gorgeous, gorgeous purple. It's the same color as that azalea over there, which this one is about to get dug up. I've got another azalea that I'm going to be digging up. So this is that Black Dragon Cryptomeria. As you can see, some of the upper branches aren't doing super great. The top is doing fine. I'm going to be air layering that one about right there this year. And then I'm thinking the middle section is all going to go away. And then this branch right here, this branch right here is going to be a tree on its own. I can either air layer it here, or I can kind of split it away from the trunk, top gen this, and then do something to kind of wrap it around. That's a little single point holly that's got the ants in it that I'm gonna have to take care of. So here's my bench going across. I mean, it's really packed in. I'm gonna need to go in and build something new. That back there, right there, was what the other Cryptomeria was in that I got from church. It did not make it at all. That hurricane that came through probably just shook it around too much and the roots died off. But yeah, So I'm going to need to build some new benches. But other than that, that is what I've got. And if you remember from the Tanuki episode, I've got a bunch of old pine roots. This one's super heavy. It's nothing but resin. It's real nice. A lot of these I won't be able to use. But I mean, some of them can add some pretty interesting stuff to the top of a tree. Something like that I probably won't be able to use at all. But, I mean, most of it is alright. That could be kind of cool coming out of the top of something. That to kind of add a little bit of girth to a tree. It's super flat. It's like 3 or 4, 5 roots all stuck together. And something like that kind of stuck up. And now back here in the laundry room, these aren't going to go out until I know it's not going to be below 40 degrees. But I got a lot of my Kingsville cuttings, a couple of Harlandy cuttings, old black, JBP, my flame trees and Judas trees. Got a little, back there is a red maple. And then my 2 Harlandys. So this one is the one that I just got. That was $20, and this is the one that I've had for a year. My Japanese black pine seedlings, I had a good number come up, but some of them died off. I'm either didn't water it enough or watered too much, or the heating pads were a little high. Over here, this is the only seedling that came up out of the floaters. So yeah, you can just get rid of your floaters. You don't have to worry about that at all. Over here, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. That's a new one. So 17 Japanese black pines came up that are still alive. A few more. I don't know if that's the Judas tree or the flame. I think that's the Brazilian flame tree. But up there, same thing. So I got another one there. I don't think that one made it. Another red maple, and then my other Kingsville cuttings that are up in this thing. This is actually got a lot more growth on these than I do the ones that did not get put into a seedling tray. These just have stayed a lot moister, so those roots have done a lot better. So that's my little I can't believe this thing's already blooming. That's crazy. So yeah, that's my little update on my garden. The fish are still down there. Well, some of the fish are still down there. We had a real hard freeze that killed all 5 of them. Mostly because I'm an idiot and left the pump running and didn't switch over to a air pump just to kind of keep that oxygenated. So I've still got the biggest one. His name is George. I've got one with the white mouth. His name is Clark Devereaux. If any of y'all know why his name is Clark Devereaux, because his white mouth, just let me know down in the comments. And then I've got Brian. He calls himself Brain, but he doesn't know how to spell because he's a fish. So his name is Brian. But anyway, Until then, if you liked what you saw here today, please hit that subscribe button, that thumbs up down below. If not, or if you have some ideas on where I can go with any of my trees that you saw, just please let me know down in the comments below. And until the next time I see y'all out at the bench in the backyard, remember to grow them big, they keep them small.